Greeting to one and all. It gives me great pleasure to tell you about the following chapter. Before talking another word, may I introduce myself as Madam Wang, the virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG, your sales expert. Alright. Thanks, here it goes. Chapter 8, Sales. After the sales quote, post-sales activities are necessary to buyer's satisfaction and enhance the salesman's likelihood of securing future business, by David L. Kurtz and another. He is currently the R.A. and Vivian Young Chair of Business Administration at the University of Arkansas. Once you sold, shut up. Many salesmen don't know when to stop talking. They continue to sell after a commitment has been made. By doing so, they run the risk of ruining the order. Logically, you will naturally want to get his order in writing, but if you force him to go over it again, he may have second thoughts. Obviously, most of us are eager to assure the customer that he has made a right decision, but if you praise him too effusively, he may become suspicious. However, you would want to settle all details, but if you raise new questions in his mind, he may wonder what he has gotten himself in for. Be aware of the fact that you should not display too much happiness, to the extent that your customer may conclude that you have managed to get the better of him, that you are making too much out of the deal. The super salesperson knows that, once you have made the sale, it pays to shut up. If the prospect indicates halfway through your presentation that he is willing to buy, don't sell anymore. More talk may simply trigger more objections. Don't say anything which could just possibly jeopardize your customer's commitment. If you must keep talking, change the subject. Discuss the weather, golf, football, music, or anything but the business you have just concluded. The second area that you must be aware of is that you must always ask the customer or non-customer for referrals to other people. Your best sources of new prospects are always people whom they have bought from, after you have completed the sales interview successfully. Every single salesperson has the experience that where they have asked for the referral from someone who may not even bought anything, who later became the very best customer. So professional salespeople always ask every customer if they can give them 2 or 3 names of other people who may be interested in his product or services. Always ask for 2 or 3 because the person will always choose to give you 2. By the way, his is an alternative close applied to get referrals. And then ask them whether you can have their phone numbers. Always these people, when they give you referrals, they will give the names of the people that they know fairly well. And they almost always have their phone numbers handy. When they have given you the phone number, ask them again which one of these 2 you think I should call first. Invariably, they will tell you who they think would be the best prospect, and then you must ask, Mr. Prospect, while we are here or while we are talking, as soon as we finished, could you call this person and tell them I will be getting in touch with them? Almost invariably, they will say, sure, why not? Because they are usually next to a telephone. They will pick up their phone. They will give a very brief introduction and they will say, LT, this Joseph will be calling on you about something. I thought it's going to be interesting and you should listen to him. They will hang up the phone. Simple as that. Without doubt, a referral is worth more than 15 times a cold call. Remember, the key to selling effectiveness is gaining trust, relationship, and credibility. When you get a referral from someone, you piggyback on the trust, friendship, and the credibility that of the other person. You don't have to go in cold and establish your credentials. Never let an after-sales situation pass by without asking for referral. The key to successful selling is to talk to more prospects, especially those that have been referred to by your satisfied customers. The third important area you must be taking care is the power of writing short notes. It's often said short notes gives long results. To illustrate my point, let me relate to you a story told by one of my participants who attended my seminar at Puturea, KL. The salesman told me that whenever a sale is closed by him, he would go back home that evening and write a personal note in his own handwriting to the people who had the same day bought from him. In doing so, he also stressed that it's important to use these live stamps sold in the post office, not those from the postage machine. It gives more of a personal touch to use postage stamps. According to him, he feels that is all right to use company stationery and papers, and he says you must hand address the envelopes. In most of his notes, this is what is usually say, a personal note to thank you for your courtesy and the profound confidence you have placed on me today. I enjoy very much visiting you and your family. I am proud that you are now pleased you are using the automatic gate. I know you will benefit from it and be pleased with the result. I'll be in touch with you in the future to see whether I can be of additional service. In the meantime, if require assistance of any kind, please feel free to contact me. Thank you. George Lee. This letter or note I agree will paint a lot of pictures, and it gives a customer a "we care for you" attitude and an assurance that he did the right thing. Let us examine this note carefully, phase by phase. Thank you for your courtesy. I enjoyed visiting. I am proud of you. You will benefit and be pleased. I shall be in touch if you need or want assistance. I believe that Mr. Lee is trying to get the message to his customer that he is a man of reliable character who can be of assistance and who is in fact a friend and a good guy. That is the feeling that we should leave with the new customer that we have just finished dealing with. The last and not the least too is remember, even the salesman does not close the deal. He or she must nevertheless leave with a happy face. It assures the salesperson to have a positive welcome the next time he visits the prospective buyer. This chapter would not be completed if no advice is given to a salesperson who has been rejected by a prospect. The departure from the prospect when no sale is made can be disheartening. As always stressed in many of my workshops, these are the following things a professional salesman must think and do. Believe me, as a general rule, the attitude of a competent salesperson who has lost the sale should be no different from that of the successful person. I must admit, it is easier to preach than do, for it takes a good and well-adjusted salesperson to smile and act friendly after trying many times to make an unyielding person to see the salesperson point of view. It must be done. During the course of my workshop, one successful and dynamic salesperson related this incident to me. He told me quite frankly that after one unsuccessful call on a prospect, he called again a second time on the same prospect. The buyer admitted saying, "Do you know you are the first salesperson who ever went away without an order and who actually thanked me for the time I gave him?" In fact, the buyer said that he already sold him these goods when you were here before. In my experience with hoteliers, there are times that months on end there would be no sales were forthcoming. This does happen even when I visited the many hotels in the city after several visits. It would be wise to adopt a positive attitude even when several visits have resulted in no sales. Therefore, in order that the next visit would be a better visit, any successful salesperson facing this situation, there are 3 attitudes a salesperson must avoid. He should avoid scorn, anger, and inferiority. A third-rate salesperson who has failed to sell a car may shun the prospect who had too little taste or the means to buy. The salesman may be angry and show it. Lastly, he may feel so defeated that he assumes an air of sorrow, which I believe is almost equally bad. It's hard to remain pleasant in face of a turndown, yet you must show a cheerful one, for right there a new sale may be started at the future date. When the turndown is received in the outer office, it is even harder to take without emotional pain. But this, too, must be overcome. It does not even pay to let the prospect's staff see that you have been humiliated in any way. Always keep a cheerful self-confidence with poise unshaken. A good final impression on the prospect's employee will be valuable at a later date. A real professional salesperson will be able to sense the certain rejection before it arrives and will prepare and exist quietly. Such capable salespeople will normally guide the conversation into other related matters, changing the subject nicely and perhaps saying something like this: "Well, I have got to be getting on. I have enjoyed our visit a lot and will look in again someday soon. Goodbye." A graceful exists is important should the closes failed after the 6th attempt. Such exist would ensure the way for a return. You should try to prevent the prospect from turning you down flatly. If the prospect has not gone on record, there is a better chance to reopen the sale than if the prospect had been permitted to do so. Summary in a nutshell: this chapter can be easily summarized in 4 salient points. Would you agree? Nevertheless, you must be reminded. Firstly, when a sale is a done deal, then it is best for the salesperson to stop talking about the sales, but he or she should take about the other topics which the customer likes. Secondly, the sales professional must always ask the customer or non-customer for referrals to other people that may need the product or service. This ensures you will have more prospects to sell to. Last but not the least, have the good habit of writing follow-up notes. They should contain words of gratitude to the customers. Would these few sentences give you a good short version of this chapter? Conclusion: therefore, my final deduction of this chapter on sale after the sale must be firmly recorded that every sale must without excuse to religiously follow the 4 ideas stated in the chapter. In truth, I myself had carried out the sales after the sale routine. Normally I quietly celebrate the sales success with a big hot famous branded coffee. At the same time, I will leisurely write a thank you follow note. This has helped me to sell more with the same customer too. To end this chapter well, remember the words of a famous Prime Minister of India, Mahatma Gandhi. Relationships are based on 4 principles: respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. So, in all honesty, I personally urge you to seriously make it a habit to write such notes. It really worked. Trust me. Goodbye. See you again in the next chapter, shall we? Thanks. PS. To enhance your learning, please click this link https://youtube.be/h0iys_sumkm end of chapter 8. Thanks for viewing this video clip. May I, Madam Wong and CTM Joseph Ng, your sales master trainer, wish you goodbye for now. Sayonara then.